Welcome back to Cheese La Vida. Before I introduce my new guest, let me just say this episode is going to be uploaded on New Year's Eve, so Happy New Year. This will be my 20th and final podcast of the year, so let's all hope for a more productive and successful 2019. Anyways.
It's Casey.
You don't want to give a last name? I understand. Most of my guests don't feel comfortable with that.
Some crazy people out there.
Today is Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, man. Jacksonville, Tennessee. Pretty boring matchup, honestly. But
yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't want to actually put... It seems they always pick shitty matches for Thursday Night Football. And with the rumors that they were going to cancel it at one point, which I guess didn't turn out to actually be true, but it's worth a thought, right?
yeah, the research shows about injuries and stuff, but I care mostly about the fantasy implications, you know? Big games.
Go on.
Playoffs coming up, fantasy playoffs, and then real playoffs after that, but...
Does fantasy matter more than the actual game?
I mean, regular season, but once we get in the postseason, fantasy kind of goes away. Then it becomes playoff predictions and the good stuff.
So regular season's more about fantasy football.
For me, and I think for most people now, that's what it's turning into.
Doesn't that kind of ruin the sport a little bit?
Some would say. I think it adds something to the sport, because before I would watch one game and would only know about the Lions players, but now I feel like I know enough about each team to make better predictions in the playoffs and to have better takes just throughout the NFL in general.
So you didn't feel like the NFL did a very good job of promoting like certain teams? Like the Patriots, for basically as long as I can remember, have been a fucking dynasty, and they've been marketed as such.
Correct.
They got the stern, quiet coach who oversees everything. They got the golden boy, Tom Brady, and that's kind of been the narrative. Is that, I mean, some would say that's good for a sport to have a dynasty, and yet it appears you only watched one game.
Yeah, well, once we get into the playoffs, I'm watching everything die hard.
Of course, but that's a totally different atmosphere, honestly.
Correct.
Playoff football is something else.
Yeah, it's something special. But regular season, you get these, if you don't have Red Zone or DirecTV, the weekly ticket, Sunday ticket, you're just watching your local game and then maybe one nationally televised game with Tony Romo, who, by the way, pretty good commentator. Some people don't like him, but I think he's pretty good.
See, I haven't watched a whole lot of football since I graduated high school, to be honest. And I think I only really even got into football as much as I did because I went to a school that prioritized that, honestly.
Yeah, I would agree. Football was pretty big where we were at.
I like playing pickup games with my friends. I like the physicality of the sport, but I just don't have the full-time viewership that I once did. And I guess to a certain extent, I don't know if it just captures my interest. I might just be a weird individual, but
yeah.
At the same time, I feel like you're onto something with the NFL not really having a nice promotional material.
Yeah, growing up, if we would have grown up in Boston, you know, we get to watch the Patriots win 5 Super Bowls, 6 Super Bowls, whatever it is, but we grow up watching the Lions make the playoffs once every 10 years and then lose, getting blown out. It's hard to get into it, so you just... College football's where it's at too, though, and then people say that's better. I think the NFL's better, in my opinion, but that's...
Well, yeah,
that's a take for a different time.
Too. I also don't even like most college sports in general, honestly. I've always been a very vocal anti-NCAA guy.
Yeah, I watch college football. I like March Madness just because you got the gambling aspect of it.
It's all exciting.
Upsets. And
I won't lie. It's all exciting stuff. You want to tune in, but it's not something that fuels me, I'd say.
Yeah. I don't know. I like sports in general, so...
So now that we know you a little better, what's wrong with the Lions?
The Lions? Man, way over here I was listening to the radio. Big article on ESPN about Stafford. Someone on Fox Sports was calling him Pat Stafford. Because at the end of the game, he's just chucking balls, getting his stats up, couple touchdowns here, couple touchdowns there. Never wins a big game. I don't think he's ever won a big game. He's won in Lambeau once or twice. That's about as big as games he's ever won.
That doesn't mean shit to anybody except people in Michigan.
Except people in Detroit. It's the same thing. It's comparable to Michigan. You got 0-4 against Ohio State, yet you win 10 games, it's a great year. Nah, that's not how it works. But the Lions, man, they need a quarterback. They got to get rid of him. 10 years. I just heard a stat.
Were you a big fan of him?
I was for a little bit. Growing up, back in like freshman, sophomore year of high school, 2009, 2010, I'm like, yeah, man, this could be it. We could actually do something. Nah, he never did nothing. He got blown out by the Saints 1 year. 1 year he lost to the Seahawks in the first round. 2 biggest games, and he didn't win either of them. I heard a stat on the way over here. Of active quarterbacks with 10 years on their team, every one of them has 4 playoff wins, except Stafford. He has 0. He's the only quarterback under 500 out of those 9 quarterbacks.
And he had Calvin Johnson.
He did.
Stretch.
Arguably, I would say arguably one of the best ever, but people hesitate to say that. He's top 5. He's arguably top 5 wide receiver ever. He retired young because his body was breaking down, and he was on a bummy team.
He was on a bummy franchise.
Bummy franchise. Yeah, that's a better phrase.
I mean, when you're bad that long, it's not just the team. It's the organization. It's the people in charge.
That's why it's a combination. I think Stafford's got some talent, but he has to have talent around him to win. He's not winning.
And I don't even know if he's really talented enough to win. Some guys have all the talent in the world and just don't win.
Yeah, that's true.
Then you got guys like Joe Montana, who, the further we get away from those teams, the more he's remembered as some noodle arm who was carried by fucking Jerry Rice.
Exactly.
And he's got 4 Super Bowl rings.
You got these misconceptions with history. It's the same with that. It's the same with real history. It's the same with every sport. So that's just how it goes, I guess.
So Stafford's narrative, though, is that he needs to get the fuck out of here at the end of the day? Is that where you're going with?
I would trade him. I think he's got to go.
Should he have already been traded?
I think give him 1 more year with Patricia. See what they can do in the draft. They got a running back now. Kerryon Johnson. He's a stud. I was not sold to the draft. I thought they should have went Darius Geis. Ended up tearing his ACL. You know, it looks like they made the right pick. He's been hurt a little bit, but they got him. They traded Golden Tate, which I didn't really get, but I know his contract was up at the end of the year. They're have to pay him. I don't hate the trade, but Marvin Jones and Kenny Galladay is a rising star, though. He's their number 1 receiver. He's good. Always needed a tight end. But look at Eric Ebron in Indy now. He's got like 11, 12 touchdowns this year. More than he had in 4 years here. So we sit here and wonder, is it the franchise or is it the quarter? What are we working with? You got Andrew Luck there, who actually knows how to give him the ball in the red zone. Huge target. And yet he scored 10 touchdowns here. He scored 11 touchdowns there in 12 games. So it's got you wondering.
Does he have a different role?
He's a red zone threat, but why couldn't the Lions...
Why couldn't he have done that in Detroit, though?
He was Stone Hands Ebron is what they call him because he just dropped every ball.
He dropped everything.
Right. He's throwing touchdowns, rushing for touchdowns in Indy.
Now he's an animal.
Andrew Luck, man, he's better than Stafford. Now we got 15 quarterbacks in this league that are easily better than him.
Are all the playoff teams now, or people on the verge of making the playoffs, have better quarterbacks than Stafford?
I would say so. You have to give me a second to think, but besides Lamar Jackson in Baltimore and Joe Flacco, the combination of the two, I think every other team, you got Brady, I'll take Mahomes, I'll take Russell Wilson, I'll take Phillip Rivers, I'll take him. Ben, I'll take him.
Aren't some of these guys a little too old, though?
A little too old, but they're still winning. Like Brady, he'll be... if we're factoring in age, obviously...
He's a little bit of an outlier.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
Focus more on, like, Phillip Rivers, let's say.
Phillip Rivers, man, he's a Hall of Famer. He's got to win a couple playoffs. He might get a Super Bowl this year. They're the team that I think no one's talking about that can win it all.
What if we had a LA Super Bowl?
That would be sweet. It'd be better than the Har Bowl, for sure. Jim Harbaugh versus John Harbaugh.
That was a pretty good Super Bowl.
It was good, and then the lights went out, and you had the controversy, and...
Yeah, and then Baltimore had that crazy... Come on, that was a good Super Bowl.
It was a good Super Bowl, but the narrative, I think LA would be a little better.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, it was... Yeah, at the end of the day, it was mostly 2 defensive-minded brothers.
You got Kaepernick, who's...
Storyline was there.
He's... the story about him.
That was
right.
after that.
But That playoff run, he was so good. He had like an 80-yard touchdown run against Green Bay.
I really thought this dude was like going to be a legend, honestly.
Matt Ryan, I remember me and you back in the day were talking on Twitter or something. We were arguing about how Matt Ryan was a choke artist. The Falcons were up 21-0 in that game, and San Francisco ended up winning it.
I told you, man, Matt Ryan. And Matty Ice.
Hey, 28-3, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Fucking legend.
Yeah, that's legend for the wrong reasons.
The ultimate bacon.
He should easily have a Super Bowl. I thought that team was gonna be good this year, but their defense got hurt early and just never recovered. They don't throw the ball to Julio in the red zone, even though he's like probably arguably the best receiver in the game.
Yeah, very disappointing. That Falcons team should still be good.
Yeah. Well, their running back got hurt early, Freeman. But you got Tevin Coleman, who's like the best backup running back in the NFL. They got a lot of pieces on defense. They just don't have a
winning quarterback,
right?
honestly.
And
it's fucked up.
You blow a Super Bowl like that, and it haunts you forever. Some people don't recover from stuff like that.
No, absolutely not. Let's get into the AFC playoffs now, though. Actually, what are the seedings? Do you have that?
Right now, the seedings, I think, are also what I predict they're going to end up. We have the 1 seed is Kansas City.
You got this written down? Is that the sound of the pages turning?
Right. I got this.
Slice in some Seeger.
Turn the page.
Kansas City as the 1 seed.
Okay.
New England is the 2 seed, of course. You know. Houston is the 3 seed. Pittsburgh is the 4 seed. The Chargers is the 5 seed. And Baltimore is the 6 seed.
It's interesting that the Steelers, the Chargers, and the Ravens, stalwarts of the 2000s, are all at the bottom. It's like a trend. And it's funny that Brady's still 2.
Yeah, Brady's...
Like I said, he's the outlier.
He's a robot, I think.
Might be. What do they call those? Monarch athletes? Now, actually, before we go on, is Kansas City really going to stay the 1 seed?
I think they will. They got... Here's going to be a telling matchup this week. Baltimore in Kansas City this week. Should be a good matchup. Kansas City can't really stop the run. Baltimore's got Lamar Jackson and another rookie running back, Gus Edwards. They're running the ball 40 times a game, trying to hammer it down your throat, and then they're letting their defense rest, beat you with their defense. I think Mahomes is going to expose them. I think they're going to lose that game.
Well, they don't even have a good... I mean, I was just looking at some general stats, and yeah, they score 37 points a game, but they also give up 27 points a game.
Kansas City's defense
I don't know any team who's ever been like that and won a Super Bowl.
That's why I'm worried. And Kareem Hunt, I'm sure you've heard about his situation. Which, a guy like that, he's got speed, he's got lateral movement, quickness. He's not easily replaceable, and they're going to try and shuffle that backfield up and replace him, but they're not going to be able to.
They cut him, right?
Yeah, he's done. He's cut.
He's never playing again?
I think he'll get signed. He's too young. When that happened to Ray Rice...
Well, wasn't he like 29?
He was older...
31.
I think he was on the end of his career too, on the downturn. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure
that happened either the year before he fell off or the year he fell off.
Yeah,
because it was very dramatic. Like it all happened in one big.
Yeah, they originally gave him 2 games, and then the video came out, and then he got.
Yeah, that was a fucking shit show.
Yeah, and
do you think that's hurt the NFL long term too? Stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Kansas City, man, and they got a guy who was. I don't want to speak wrongly, but I'm pretty sure he was charged with domestic violence. Tyreek Hill. He was strangling his girlfriend and beating her. And just because there's not a video, I don't think he's not in trouble. He's one of their best players. And if a video came out tomorrow of him doing it, he'd probably get cut too. And that's a shame because it takes a video to make something like that happen. And so we got Kareem Hunt getting cut. Their defense is trash. It's atrocious, man. Eric Berry...
Which is funny because, 4 years ago it was elite.
Yeah,
great,
Justin Houston had 20 sacks. Eric Berry, supposedly their quarterback of their defense. He's returned to practice. He's getting healthy. We'll see if that makes a difference. But they can outscore anybody, man. I think they can. if they lose that 1 seed and have to go to Foxborough, they've already lost there once this year.
Oh, they'll lose again.
They'll lose in Foxborough. But if they can keep that 1 seed, I think they got a chance this year. I'm not saying for sure, but they got a chance.
So it's really just coming down to the Chiefs and the Patriots, is what you're saying.
Those are the two teams I'm looking at. But I think the AFC it's a little bit open too. I like Houston. They've won 8 in a row, 9 in a row. They've won 9 in a row now with Deshaun Watson. He's a winner. Clemson, he beat Bama. He lost the year before he comes back, avenges his loss. Last year he starts, stud, tears ACL in practice. Comes back this year, they start 0-3. They've torn off 9 in a row. They're up to the 3 seed. That run game, Lamar Miller's looked decent. DeAndre Hopkins, top 3 wide receiver in the league. Watson can throw it. J.J. Watt, Davion Clowney, Honey Badger on defense. They can
Formidable
compete.
defense.
Yeah, they can compete. If they told me today Houston's representing the AFC, I wouldn't be shocked. I think
They've
there's
always been a solid team.
right. And then you got the Chargers who, man, Phillip Rivers keeps popping them kids out, but he needs to pop out a Super Bowl ring. Because if he don't, that Hall of Fame status might be up in the air. He's got to get to one.
You said he was a Hall of Famer.
I did, but he's got to get to one. His stats are Hall of Fame worthy.
They are, absolutely.
He's the best. He might be the best quarterback with never being to a Super Bowl. He's been to the AFC title game once, lost to Brady, I think.
Is he better than Marino?
I don't know, man. Game's changed. I would say so. He's good, man. He's a good quarterback. He's probably not better than Marino.
That might be a little controversial.
Yeah, he's not better than Marino, but
oh, you taking that one back?
yeah, I'm gonna take that one back just because I don't want to get roasted. But he's so good. His arm angle's weird, but I love watching him play. He's a competitor.
He's kind of like a fucking cowboy, honestly. He's got the fucking huge ass belt buckle and
Yeah,
yeah, we had a good game.
Yeah.
I fuck with Phillip Rivers. I always liked him.
yeah. I mean, he's a dog. He's out there competing. He's started 200
he's kind of
straight.
an old school quarterback.
200
I like
straight games or something.
I've always liked
He just
Phillip
chucks
Rivers.
it. They got Keenan Allen, one of the best route runners in football. Mike Williams, he's a second year out of Clemson. He's emerging. I wrote about him in a piece before the season started.
Oh, you have a blog?
I got a little something, sports piece. I haven't written in a while.
You want to plug it real quick?
It's curious takes on WordPress, but
CuriousTakes.wordpress.com?
yes, correct. I graduate next Friday, so
What did you major in?
education, be a teacher, teach these kids about football, you know?
You're going to be a gym teacher?
No, man, I'll be an elementary school teacher.
What grade preferably?
Upper L, 4th, 5th. Maybe middle school math. We'll see. Wherever it takes me.
Very
Yeah.
commendable.
But yeah, man, back to these Chargers. That's defense. Okay, Derwin James on defense, a rookie. He fell. I don't know why he fell at the draft. 17th or 18th, they took him. Defensive Rookie of the Year. And I'm hesitant to say this just because he's a rookie. He's one of the most electric players on defense we've seen in a while. He makes tackles in the backfield. He's safety or a corner. Either way, man. He's out there making plays in the backfield. Making plays, picking off balls, scoring touchdowns. I'm pretty sure he's got a pick 6 this year. He's just everywhere on the field. Any play, you see him in there. And the commentators last week were talking about him and Troy Polamalu. That's just, let's not go there right now. Because Troy Polamalu, he's a great.
Who were they playing last week?
Last Sunday night, they beat the Steelers.
How good are the Steelers really, though?
Steelers are not winning at all.
Are they getting out the
they're a
first
pretender.
round? Or the wild card? Because if they're you say the AFC is likely to stay how it is.
They're losing to the Chargers again.
Okay.
Chargers just beat them in Pittsburgh. There was a controversial call that didn't get called, which could have changed the game, but I think they're going to win that game. Chargers.
Are you willing to go out on a limb and say Phillip Rivers is going to sling it in Pittsburgh?
He's going to sling it in Pittsburgh.
Is it going to be a shootout or a blowout?
It'll be a shootout. I was one of the only ones last year, man. I run a playoff bracket every year, and dudes were chirping me, trying to roast me because I was taking the Jaguars to beat Pittsburgh. Ben's got 2 rings. I respect that, but those days are over. He's not winning
I've been
another
saying
one.
that for a minute. Like I said, do not watch regularly.
Yeah, he's not
I
winning
keep
another
up a little
one.
bit.
Chargers
He
are
is
winning
not
that
the
game.
same.
Chargers are winning that game if it's played tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow because Melvin Gordon's still hurt. And they got a 1-2 duo in the backfield. Gordon and Eckler. Melvin Gordon, he's been a stud, man. Fantasy stud, regular stud. That defense, like I said, Derwin James, Joey Bosa's getting healthy on the defensive line. He's the Bosa's, man. His brother's coming out this year too from Ohio State.
So what's the 3rd and 6th seed matchup for the AFC?
We got Houston and Baltimore.
That sounds like a Houston blowout.
Yeah, the problem I have with Baltimore, so Joe Flacco gets this hip injury. They bring in Lamar Jackson, they're 4-5. He tears off 3 wins in a row. So they named him the starter for this week. Maybe they haven't officially named him that, but once you're 3-0, I'm pretty sure you're getting named the starter, and Joe Flacco with the nagging hip injury. The problem I have is they beat the Bengals, aren't very good. They beat the Raiders, who aren't very good, and then they beat the Falcons, who aren't very good.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you got to take it with a grain of salt because this, like I said before, this week's going to be telling against the Chiefs. If they play that game respectable and it's 34-27, 34-31, something like that, I'll feel a little bit better about them. But
are they in danger of losing their spot if they lose to the Chiefs, though?
no, because I did my predictions and I have them losing this game and they still make the playoffs. Some teams that were charging are the Colts, but they lost last week. They're 6-6. The Dolphins are 6-6. They're frauds too.
Always have been, honestly.
Yeah.
I've never cared for Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill, see ya. They need a quarterback too. And then you got the Broncos, who just lost their best receiver, tore his Achilles yesterday in practice. So I think they're in trouble.
So the 6 we got are the 6 we got.
I think the 6 we got are the 6 we got.
All right, well, then let's just cut the bullshit and go to the NFC.
Yeah.
What's the standings over there?
The NFC, here's what I got projected. I have Minnesota with the 6 seed, so I know you love them.
Hey, that's my squad.
I got Dallas with the 3 seed, and then we got Seattle with the 5 seed, and we have Chicago with the 4 seed. Oh, I'm sorry, and then the 1 seed's going to be the Rams, 2 seed's going to be New Orleans.
Is that pretty much locked in place, you think?
Yeah, I think that's locked. Rams have lost 1 game. New Orleans have lost 2.
Are the Rams going 15-1?
If they don't rest their starters week 16, 17.
So you're saying at least 14-2.
Yeah, that's a good team right there.
That's a pretty fucking great record.
Yeah, Sean.
They've got to go to the Super Bowl then.
They're only lost those to the Saints. So if they play the Saints...
What if they have the home? Did they play them at home?
They played them in New Orleans.
Now what if they play them at home?
If they play them at home, I like their chance a little better. The Saints just lost last week to the Cowboys, which that was a weird game, man. Drew Brees passed for like 150 yards. It was weird. He had like 50 yards passing in the first half.
Could have just been good defense.
Yeah, that Cowboys defense is good. They got a rookie in Vander Esch, who I've never even heard of before this year. He's making plays all over the field. He's a linebacker. They got Jalen Smith from Notre Dame. A couple years ago, he was projected to be the first overall pick. Bowl game, tears his ACL. Had to get like 3 surgeries.
That's fucking tough.
Yeah, he was out for that entire year. But they drafted him in the second round. They took a chance on him. He missed that entire year. Next year he comes back. He's a stud. They got Sean Lee, who's never healthy, but when he is, man, he's good.
How old is he?
He's getting up there, I think, because I feel like every year they're talking about him getting hurt. But
I remember 6 years ago he was out for like the whole year or something.
They just keep
like,
talking
holy
about
shit,
him.
this guy's like 32. He can't do this forever, and he's still playing.
Yeah, and then you got that offense. Dak Prescott, he's a poor man's Russell Wilson.
Some just say he's Troy Aikman, man.
Right. He can't scramble like Wilson can. And he doesn't have the arm Wilson does, but he's a game manager. He kind of fumbles a lot, too. Maybe he's not a poor man's Russell Wilson. Maybe that take was bad. Since they traded for Amari Cooper, he's played better. They gave up a first-round pick for him, which people were worried about. Not a great deal for them, but he's played well. And then you got...
Do you like game-managing quarterbacks?
It's a little boring, but like Alex Smith, hopefully he gets healthy soon, but he's a definition of one.
What separates like someone from an Alex Smith from a Troy Aikman? Why does Troy Aikman have 3 Super Bowls and Alex Smith never made it to one?
Pretty sure he played with Emmett, didn't he?
Well, yeah, of course his team was stacked, but you know the quarterback, like
it's
Trent
competition
Dilfer has 1 for just not making mistakes.
Yeah,
You don't get 3 by just not making mistakes, you know? So to an extent, like what separates game managing quarterbacks?
So you want to know what separates the lower tier game managing quarterbacks to the
I
higher
don't
tier?
understand.
I think honestly the team around them, maybe.
Russell Wilson has a Super Bowl ring.
Okay, but he had Marshawn Lynch and he had the Legion of Boom.
Exactly. He was a game managing quarterback. He's a nice quarterback.
Alex Smith never had that.
Okay.
In San Francisco, he got robbed of his job by Cap, which ended up working out. He made the Super Bowl, but he was having a good year, and then I think he missed like 1 game or something, and Cap came in and blew him away, and they let him take over, which I...
You know what's fucked up is I started Alex Smith in his last start in my 1 year of fantasy football, and he played the Cardinals and had like 3 touchdowns. It was great. I snuck the fucking win out last second. But it's a damn shame what's happened to the guy, honestly.
Yeah, hopefully he gets healthy, man. These reports are not looking good, but you just gotta hope that he gets healthy. He's a good guy. He's a good quarterback. But yeah, Cowboys beat the Saints is where we were at. I think that was just a outlier, kind of. I think the Cowboys are for real. I think if I'm ranking the NFC teams on who can get to the Super Bowl, man, it's hard for me to just say there's only 4 teams that have a chance. Because Seattle, you got
Really?
Russell Wilson.
You believe there's more than 4 teams in the NFC with a chance?
In the NFC, no, but overall, I think... I don't know. I'm going to put it at 6 teams that have a legit chance to win it all. I'll put it at 6. Those 6 being the Rams, the Saints, the Chargers, the Patriots, the Chiefs, and the Cowboys. And I'm going to get killed for that Cowboys take because they can't win nothing, but I just got to...
Aren't they 8-4?
I think they're 7-5, but that division went to shit because the Alex Smith injury, the Eagles have been...
Hungover.
Yeah, hungover, and then you got the Giants who... Man, anytime anyone can attack the Giants about their quarterback, they do. I like the Saquon Barkley pick. That kid is electric. Younger than me, so I can call him a kid. That's crazy. Eli, yeah, he's got to go, but you bring in a quarterback next year.
Just have him be the backup.
Yeah, but they don't...
There's no shame in
Their
that.
backup is garbage, I think. He's Kyle Lauletta or something.
Yeah, get rid of him, make Eli the backup.
Yeah. They need to get a quarterback, but this is not a great quarterback draft class, and that's... People are going to kill him again, because next year they're going to have Eli again. They're like, man, they didn't take a quarterback. They should have taken Sam Darnold or Baker, and Baker was gone already. So they should have taken Sam Darnold or Josh Allen or Josh Rosen, and I disagree. I think Barkley's fine, and he's going to have his prime years. This is his first year. So then 2 years from now, if you can get one of those stud quarterbacks coming out, Odell's their best quarterback, man. He's been slinging it this year.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
He's thrown 2 touchdowns this year. He threw a ball like 50 yards in the air last week. I was shook. I said, oh, my.
It's because they don't have anything else.
Yeah, but 50 yards in the air, man, that's kind of impressive, I think. I don't know. Jamarcus Russell, they said, could throw it like 90 from his knees.
Well, I saw the video of that.
Yeah, he's a bust, though, man. I was reading...
Well, arm strength isn't everything.
I read a quote that said, for the Raiders, they sent him game tape to watch, and they suspected he wasn't watching it, so they sent him blank videos, and he came back and they asked him what he watched, and he said, oh, I was watching the 3-4 defense. after they sent him blank videos. It just goes to show you, man, that talent isn't everything. You gotta want it.
I've never heard that story.
It came out a couple months ago.
Oh, that's great.
It was classic.
What a fucking moron.
Yeah, for real.
I remember his last year, he had like a 47.5 QB rating or something.
Man,
Just atrocious. That dude was a
That was the funniest thing I think I ever read.
Any case, NFC playoffs.
Yeah, we're looking at... It's probably going to be Rams Saints is what we're going to end up seeing. But I'm not afraid to say that Seattle could win. They played the Rams twice. They're the 5th seed. So if they
Who
can...
would they be playing?
So if they win... Or they would play Chicago, which Trubisky, a little bit of a fraud, I think. He's good, but he's young. I don't think they're ready yet. They have some weapons on offense. The D-line's nasty. Khalil Mack, Packers should have traded for him, and they could have, but they didn't pull the trigger. Now look where they're at. But the Bears, I think they're a year away. Next year could be their year.
What are the Packers going to do?
I don't know.
They've really
man.
just been coasting on Aaron Rodgers' talent for
you got a guy.
decade.
You got a guy who's got one ring. He's had decent running backs, right? He had Eddie Lacy for a year or two.
He's had okay running
Yeah,
back.
he's never had an elite running back. He's got Aaron Jones now, who Mike McCarthy needs to feed him. He needed to feed him. That's one reason he's gone.
He's had some okay lines too, but he's also had some really trash.
Yeah, I mean, he's got decent receivers, but then you make the argument, are his receivers good, or does he make them good? Devontae Adams is a stud, touchdown machine. Their offense is good because you got Aaron Rodgers and weapons around him. You need to work on that defense and keep them competitive. You can't stop anybody. You got to depend on Aaron Rodgers to outscore all year. A couple years ago in the playoffs, he made a throw to Jared Cook against Dallas that he was on the run to the left, and he threw it like 35 yards on the sideline. One of the craziest throws I've ever seen. Kicked a game-winning field goal right there. After the Cowboys came back.
I feel like Aaron Rodgers gives us some kind of highlight every single game.
People are going to argue that
I have no idea how he got so good.
he's only got one ring and he's not a great quarterback, but I'm telling you right now, and I've never seen a quarterback make some of the throws he's made. And adding to that, I know I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here. Patrick Mahomes, man, he's made some throws this year I've never seen anybody make.
Is he next up?
That's what it looks like. I read an article the other day that said he's getting better, and he's on pace for 5,200 passing yards and 300 rushing yards. Here's the list of guys who's ever done that. Right there. He's mobile. Every play, it looks like he could run 10 yards because they're trying to cover the receivers because he's such a good thrower. But he just chucks it and puts it in windows that dudes can get to. He made a throw on Monday Night Football a couple weeks ago. 5 weeks, 6 weeks ago now. He was going down. He switched it to his left hand and threw it left-handed
He's
to
ambidextrous.
pick up a first down. I don't know what he is, but he made that throw.
Seems like a fucking freak of nature.
Yeah, he used to play baseball.
Hercules out there playing
He used to play
football.
baseball. He's got those weird arm slots they say that Aaron Rodgers has sometimes. Yeah, I saw a tweet the other day. Here's another thing for you. A complete list of quarterbacks with 3,900 passing yards, 40 passing touchdowns, and 200 rushing yards. Aaron Rodgers, Andrew Luck, and Patrick Mahomes this year. He's got 4 games left. So, he's next up for sure. I still think Rodgers is the best quarterback in the league. Makes throws I've never seen. Most talented quarterback, I think, to maybe ever play the game. And that's a statement.
Is Mahomes winning any Super Bowls?
Oh, yeah. He was a rookie last year, sat behind Smith. Then they traded Smith because they knew Mahomes was the guy, and they could win it this year. If that defense can even be comparable, they got a chance this year. So like I was saying...
Who are they playing in the playoffs?
The playoffs, they'd be the 1 seed. The AFC's a little easier than the NFC, I think. The Chargers and the Patriots are the 2 teams that could beat them. The Chargers could outscore them just because you got Rivers slanging it out there. I don't know. I think Kansas City, they're my favorite to win the AFC right now. And the NFC, my favorite's the Saints, I'm sorry.
The Rams and the Chiefs?
The Saints and the Chiefs would be my picks.
Yeah, the Saints and the Chiefs.
The Rams and the Chiefs already played this year on Monday night. 52-51 or some crazy score. It was the best game I've ever seen, I think.
Would Breeze get his second ring?
Yeah, he would.
Because the last few years, New Orleans didn't have that great of a defense.
Correct. Last year they were pretty good, and then they got beat by that Minnesota Miracle with the Stephon Diggs
that
play.
was great.
That was awesome. I watched that. It was cool. It was one of the craziest plays I've ever seen. Their offense is explosive, man. They got Kamara and Ingram in the backfield. They got Michael Thomas. Tight ends always been a question for them since they lost Jimmy Graham. They got Traquan
He
Smith.
hasn't done anything since then.
Yeah, exactly. He's been a bum since then. They got an up-and-coming receiver in Traquan Smith, and their defense is getting better. The beginning of the year it was trash, but lately it's been a little better. Because even though they lost to the Cowboys the other day, I'm pretty sure it was 17-7 or 10-7, or it was a low-scoring game for most of the game. Maybe the Cowboys scored a late one, but their defense is playing better, and they already beat the Rams, and you got Drew Brees. So I think the Saints are going to win the NFC.
Who would they play in the divisional round in your...
In my estimation, they would get... Flipping pages again. They would get Dallas, who they just lost to, but in the playoffs, a different story, different atmosphere. Dak's been there before, so he might be able to handle it, but I just think the Saints would prevail.
You think the Cowboys are going to stomp on Minnesota then?
Yeah, I think Zeke's going to run all over him, man. He's a stud.
Yeah, the Vikings really let their window slip by them, I think.
Yeah.
They still got a little bit of time, but it's pretty much over.
That defense is getting old. Xavier Rhodes is always hurt, it seems like. You got Harrison Smith still.
Yeah, they'll be solid. They just...
It's hard
last
for them
year
to win
really
it all.
was their best chance.
Yeah, and then they got blown out against Nick Foles, man. That's rough. But then he won the Super Bowl, so...
I mean, it was kind of destined, you know. I guess Philly needed one.
Yeah. Yeah, your Vikings will get stomped, man.
Oh, thanks.
They got
Makes me feel great.
Adam Thielen and Diggs might be the best 1-2 receivers in the league. So, and then you got Kirk, who they paid all this money to, and I think he's a good quarterback. I'd take him over.
He's just good, though.
Yeah, he's good. He's not great is the problem. In your run game, Dalvin Cook, you got to get him back and going. He's missed some games. I mean,
they're just
like I said, you're outside looking in. You can just you can make these arguments for these teams to win games, but it's all got to be perfect situations.
They're not a realistic shot.
Yeah.
I'm not even.
Yeah,
they're Seattle is though. They're a 5th seed, and they apparently aren't much better than the Vikings.
This is where I'm giving them. They got a ring. Russell Wilson has a ring.
Isn't most of that team gone?
A lot of team is gone, but you got your quarterback, you got your coach, and you got winning precedent there. So, I'm never going to count them out. Do I think they have a realistic chance? No. But...
No, why are you counting out Brady? That's your boy.
I'm not counting him out. He's he's my probably he's my 4th favorite right now to win it all. I just don't think that team's as good as it's been, but that's what we say every year, and then they end up winning it all. So
I used to be the guy who would say, fuck Brady, system quarterback, team is not that great. But since dude got his fucking 5th ring,
it's hard to...
I'm just not counting him out.
He's cemented.
He's going to be my pick. Like, the Patriots will just be my pick until he retires.
I respect it, because that's how I always felt too, but...
A lot of people have been saying that for over a decade now, but...
You just can't.
I needed that 5th ring to validate that.
Yeah.
I think you need to ascend to a status, and they've done it.
Yeah.
They've done it. Absolutely, they've done it. I don't know for how much longer, but they've done it.
Yeah, me and my buddy had a little side bet at the beginning of the year. He took Minnesota, I took New Orleans, because I've been saying New Orleans ever since that defeat last year. That stupid Minnesota miracle.
It happens.
It happens. Not often, but it happens. But I just think New Orleans is going to win it all this year. I just think Breeze riding off into the sunset, even though he's probably got 3 years left in him, it seems like. Breaking records left and right.
Only 3 years or just 3 high-level years?
I don't know if... I would say he'll probably be retired in 3 years. 3 years from now, he'll be retired. Whether or not he has 3 good years left, 3 great years left.
How old is he?
Honestly, I'm not sure. 38, maybe? 39?
Didn't he get drafted in like 2001, 2002?
Maybe 04? And then he had he played a couple games with the Chargers, I think.
I think he played like 3 years over there.
Oh.
But he was injured.
Okay.
Like 2 out of the 3 years or something.
Yeah, I think he's 39.
I think he was a backup when he first came to. I'm not sure. He was not expected to be what he became at all.
No, he actually did something that only a few other people did, was beat every team, even his own team, because he's playing.
Yeah. Brett Favre did that first in like 2009.
Yeah.
And then I think Peyton Manning did it.
And now
Drew Brees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fascinating. Brady could probably do that too.
Yeah, if he wanted to leave and just beat Belichick.
I mean,
yeah, he's got all those.
That would be a fucking storyline.
He's got all them secrets, man. All them deflated footballs.
I don't know why they've made a big stink about that.
Me either. They beat him 45-7, dude. Grow up.
no crying in football.
Right. That whole story was ridiculous, man. I don't even care.
So give me the lowdown on the AFC Championship game, you think, then?
AFC Championship game, we're looking at Kansas City, New England, in Arrowhead. We're looking at Mahomes, the up-and-coming star, versus the legend. Father Time and Mahomes are going to win, or is the legend just going to do it again and just keep doing it forever? I don't know. I think this might be the year that Mahomes just outscores him. They just chuck the ball downfield.
So what would last season be for the Patriots then, since they ended up short in that season too?
I mean, to them, it's probably a disappointment. If they don't win a title, they see it as a disappointment.
So that's last season's essentially nothing to the overall legacy of the Patriots.
No,
but if they lose this one, it's more like it's over.
Yeah, I would say so. But you got to see what they do in the offseason too, because if Brady keeps saying he wants to play 3 or more years, if you can play at this level for 3 more and that defense gets better and he just, who knows? The run game, they got a rookie back there, Sony Michel, he's pretty good.
Is Belichick going to stay though?
Yeah, he's staying, man. I think they'll go together.
So that little beef the media tried to make, completely fabricated?
Somewhat fabricated, but with success comes...
Well, I mean, just... You work at a place long enough, you have arguments.
Yeah, you're going to argue with everybody. Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think it was blown up to
I think it was blown up a little bit.
Maybe break up the Patriots or plant seeds of dissension?
Yeah, I mean, that's the media, and that's just what the media does, which that's just how it goes.
Where is the Super Bowl at?
Atlanta. So, close to New Orleans. Probably be a semi-home game for them.
Now, what if the Rams win?
If the Rams make it, so if it's Rams-Chiefs, are you saying?
Yeah.
I mean, we've already seen that, and the Rams ended up winning. I just love the Chiefs, man. I don't know why. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I think they could beat anybody.
You just can't see anyone.
Right. I think New Orleans is the only team that can stop them because their run game is so good that they can just pound, and pound. Obviously, the Rams have Gurley too, but I'm saying in the Super Bowl, Chiefs-Saints Super Bowl. Saints are going to pound that ball, and then their defense is going to step up and make plays.
Now, flip that. What if the Patriots win?
So, Patriots-Saints, you got 2 legends facing each other. Brady, obviously 2 different classes of legends because Brady's almost on his own at this point. Saints are good against the run. Give me the Patriots in that matchup.
Think he retires after he wins the 6th?
I don't know, man. He says he keeps wanting to play. I think he's going to just keep playing until maybe he breaks his leg or something and he has to retire. I don't know.
It's certainly possible, honestly. I can't rule
Manning went out on top, but did he really? Obviously he won the Super Bowl.
Really.
His stats
when John Elway went out on top, he wasn't super elite, but he was still effective.
Yeah.
Even though I don't even think he really had a great performance in that particular Super Bowl, to be honest.
Yeah, that Broncos defense was so good, man.
They had a great running back, too. TD. That team was nasty.
Yeah.
Very underrated squad, honestly. They don't get talked about that much in the grand scheme of things.
Not a lot of people do recently. We just talk about this Patriots dynasty.
Yeah, do you think that it's hurt the NFL in the long term?
The Patriots dynasty? I don't think so. I think that
the NFL does have a lot of lore, but it seems like it's just about the Patriots now.
Yeah.
And like we said, fantasy football.
Yeah, we got a lot of young guns coming up though. We got Goff. We got Mahomes. We got the kid in Chicago, Trubisky, who's playing pretty well. That team's pretty good. The problem is, the Patriots dynasty might get boring to some people, but if we get other teams too, like a new crop of teams in the playoffs with the Patriots, which Kansas City was there last year, but now they got a new quarterback. The Rams were there last year, but now they're more explosive. So, you want variety, but too much variety is not great either, I don't think. If we have a Super Bowl with the Bears and the Texans, I don't know how many people are going to be that interested, Yeah, it's 2 young quarterbacks going at it, but if you got
I don't think that
Brady Mahomes, you got Brady Mahomes in the AFC title game, you got Breeze Goff, you got the young gun versus the legend, the young gun versus the legend. They're going at it. winners go to Super Bowl.
There's not many storylines you can get from a Bears-Texans Super Bowl.
Right, that's what I mean.
honestly.
You got right. That's what I'm saying. I think those two games, narrative central. LA is a pretty good one too.
But you think the NFL's in a good place?
Yeah, I think they're fine. I've heard some people not like significant source of like, but I've heard people saying that the NFL will be gone eventually just because of all the CT and all the trauma, but I don't think so. I think it'll never die.
Honestly, if it does,
I'd be
I don't
shocked.
think that'll be in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a very long time.
I'd say they'll probably find like
And we'll probably have a much different society by that point.
they would fix helmets and the type of hitting before that happened, I think. I don't think they'd
They
let
would
that
work
happen.
towards that. Yeah, they would do everything in their power.
And then you got the people who are like, man, this isn't even football anymore, but they're still watching it. So
I suppose. I like defense, to be honest. I
Me
do
too. I
admire
love a
an
good
explosive
defense.
offense, but I like nice hits, or I like a good hit. I like imposing
Pressure,
defense.
yeah,
I
me
like
too.
pressure.
it's like in baseball, man. Everybody hates the pitching duel, but I love it. Just to see the
I like a good pitcher.
nuances and
They
stuff.
dominate the game.
Yeah, it's great. I like that. That's a little comparable, but
Let's get a quick Thursday night football prediction from you. Right?
Thursday night football
Since we
prediction.
mostly just talk shit about it.
Right. Jacksonville, Tennessee. Blake Bortles, he's a bum. He's out. Give me Jacksonville 13, Titans 7. It's gonna be ugly. I don't think Tennessee can score on that defense. They played really well. They shut out the Colts, who was like one of the most explosive offenses coming into that game. And Leonard Fournette was suspended last week, so he's coming off with fresh legs. He's gonna run all over them. 14-7 is my prediction.
All right. Well, any final words?
Nah, man. Go Lakers.